Hello folks, Scott here with the new My Monthly Hero December 2023 kit. I had just gotten my Christmas cards all mailed and this showed up in my mailbox. We've kind of gone super size with the kit this month. As usual, it is all enclosed in this 8x10 zippered pouch. And here's our backer card. It looks like we are doing alphabet primers this month with this is amazing. Dig right in. We've got this gigantic 8x10 stamp set. Look at the size of that baby right there. Every letter of the alphabet, and of course there's a little image for each letter to go along with it. Acorns, balloons, clouds, dreamcatcher, envelope, flower, grapes, hourglass, ice cream. We've got a lighthouse, a peacock, for quiet, a whale, seashells. I like this one. A zephyr, I believe that would be a zephyr for Z. Yarn, truly a gigantic stamp set. How am I going to store this now? We also have this great cover plate die, an alphabet cover plate die, which actually cuts out all 26 letters of the alphabet, but that is all within a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch framework. We also have a pack of watercolor pencils, a 10-pack of watercolor pencils. We don't often, I don't think I've gotten a colored pencil from Hero Arts ever. We'll take a quick look at those in a moment. We also have 6 sheets of watercolor paper that are, of course, 8.5 by 11. Big watercolor paper. And, of course, we get a water flow brush. So let's take a quick look at these watercolor pencils. Grab a piece of watercolor paper here. I will open my water flow brush. I've got a little bit of water right here. We're just going to dig right in. So it looks like we've got a gray, a purple, a black, a blue, yellow, white, orange, red, brown, and I'm not sure what that is. So this is, yes, rather purple. See the blue. I wonder if there's a dark. This is the blue, a nice medium blue. Green, there's got to be a green here. Does this look like a green? That's our green. Of course, a yellow, orange. This is our orange. They lay down nicely. Orange and then red. I guess this is our red. Yep, that's red. Kind of a mahogany red. Let's see what the rest of these are. This looks like a brown. A nice medium brown there. This also looks like a brown, but that's kind of a magenta there. I guess that should actually be up here. And then there is a gray, a good medium, kind of a coolish gray, and of course a white, which won't show up on this paper at all. Let's see what they do with a little bit of water on there. I'm just dipping into water here. There we go. Those are watercolor pencils. They move nicely. See if we can blend that. A good blend. That yellow works nicely. Orange and the red. Brown. Kind of a medium brown. There's that nice magenta. I don't think it's quite indigo, but, and gray. And there was a little white down here too. Very interesting. I guess they want us to do some watercoloring this month with our watercolor pencils and our water flow brush and all of that terrific white watercolor cardstock. Okay, so that's everything in the classic kit. There is also more stuff to go here. We also have our premium kit. Our premium items include a 4x6 inch numbers clear stamp set. So here we've got 1 through 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 0, in 2 sizes and 2 styles. So we've got solid numbers. We also have smaller outline numbers. And then here's where all of our sentiments are. These are all kind of lined up. So high 5, 3's a charm, lucky 7, 6, 7 days a week, 6 of one, half dozen of the other, ground 0, as easy as 1, 2, 3, months old, blank is just a number, the hours, the days, one of a kind. And then we get a sea salt reactive sea salt re-inker, which this is actually good for splattering as well, especially on watercolors. A sea salt re-inker. We also get some gold glimmer metallic ink. Gold glimmer metallic ink. We've gotten gold ink from Hero Arts before. I am imagining it's the same. And then we get a fine line applicator. Screws off a little bitty fine line applicator. They suggest using that with the gold glimmer metallic ink. So let me just take a quick look at this. Let me shake up our glimmer ink just a little bit. There's no metal ball inside that. It seems pretty mixed up already. So I believe we're supposed to take the top off. There you go, pops right out just like that. And then you screw your other topper on top. There you go, that's screwed down. And then they say you can make fine lines or dots or, this is still screwing. Get that down there tight. And let's see what that gives us here. Really nice, pretty fine line here. It's interesting to write with something while you're squeezing is a little bit difficult. This could give us certainly some terrific little gold dots in very small sizes. Very interesting. Gold glimmer ink, that is, and then of course there is a wire inside here. It goes inside the tube. There we go. There, I got it. That little, and that screws down tight. That should keep everything from drying out down there. So that is everything in our December 2023 Classic and Premium kit. I feel obliged to make an alphabet primer, or at least some flashcards. Let's see where this kit takes us. I am not going to try and use every one of these stamps on my 10 cards. You can count on that. And here are my 10 cards for the month. We've got all white card bases. There's one black card base in there. This was a very interesting kit, I have to say. I generally like alphabet stamps, and the cover plate die actually cuts the entire alphabet out of one 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch panel. The watercolor pencils are certainly a great addition, but I'm not particularly keen on these tiny images. In order to squeeze 26 images on this page, all of them had to be quite tiny. So I figured that to start off with, I would jump into the cover plate die first off. And since there's no more than a is for sentiment on this first stamp set, I guess we are left to our own devices as far as sentiments go with this stamp set, unless you want to just do a primer. A is for acorn, B is for balloons, C is for clouds. It would make a really cute primer, but I don't have any children in my life that are quite that young. So for our first card, we've got Words Alone Cannot Express My Gratitude, with that great cover plate die as the background. So I cut the cover plate die from a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch panel of 110-pound Neenah Solar White cardstock. I cut a matching panel out of the watercolor paper, and I colored the whole panel with the purple, blue, and green watercolor pencils. I colored it very lightly, trying not to leave any pencil strokes visible. Then I took the water brush that came in the kit and blended all of the colors together. That came out very nice. You can hardly see any pencil lines whatsoever. I glued the die cut panel on top of the watercolor panel and then down to an A2 white card base. And of course, here's where I'm challenged. The letters cut with the cover plate are 1 inch tall. Those are 1 inch tall, making them fairly large. You might be able to get a few short words on a card front, but not much more. Just the word thank, here I've got it here. Just the word thank is more than 4 inches long, so almost covers up the entire front of an A2 card. Of course, you can go sideways like that. Those are big letters. I opted instead to create my own sentiment using my Silhouette software and the Hiragino Sans WF font. I printed the sentiment in purple and I die cut it with a Hero Arts Nesting Infinity rectangle die. And I cut 4 more blanks of that die as well and glued them all together. And then down to the card front. I gravitated to word type sentiments since we have a background of letters. So this turns out to be a heartfelt thank you card. That cover plate die is really, really very interesting. Of course, you can emboss with a cover plate die as well. You don't have to cut all the letters out. And so that gave us our second card, which is P is for Peacock. And I'm so proud of you. That completes a little primer front with an actual sentiment that means something more than P is for Peacock. I embossed the cover plate die on a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch panel of 110-pound cardstock. Most die cutting machines have instructions for dry embossing with a die. It really looks nice. I stamped the peacock and the text using Hero Arts Intense Black ink on the watercolor paper and colored the peacock with the watercolor pencils and my Zig watercolor markers. The peacock is less than 2 inches tall, pretty small to go crazy with details, but I did manage to get some tiny details in there. I die cut the painted panel with a lawn fawn stitched rectangle die, and I mounted that to a thin mat of metallic blue cardstock. Nice little shine with that. Now, I suppose you could mention how proud you are of the recipient in your message, but I decided to print it out on the inside of the card. The same font as my first card. I feel that really makes this complete. I glued the embossed panel to the card front, and I attached the peacock panel to the card front using foam tape. 3 glitter enamel dots add a touch of bling to wrap up this card. I really like the embossing of that cover plate die. I think that makes for a grand background. And of course, we have to try our cover plate die with some black cardstock. And we have a congrats card with foiling. Oh, look at that foiling. I couldn't resist. It seemed like there for a little time, every video I watched on YouTube was about foiling. Everybody was foiling everything. So I cut the cover plate die from pitch black cardstock. I used some rainbow deco foil and toner sheets for the background, and I glued them both to a white A2 card base. So I took the letters from previous die cuts, I colored them with Hero Arts Fuchsia and Gold Duotone Spray. We got this in our February 2023 My Monthly Hero Kit. Love that spray. It worked really well. Once those were dry, I colored all of the edges with a black marker so none of the white edges were peeking out, and I arranged them together for this sentiment. I glued the letters to each other and then down to the card front with foam tape. That's one way of squeezing a longer sentiment onto a smaller card. Congrats, of course, would fit this way, but that takes up the whole card. I really wanted to show off this foil background here. Congrats! Of course, we also have the alpha stamps, all 26 of them. They are the same size as the die cuts, 1 inch tall, so there's not a lot of extra room. So for our next card, we have Words Matter, with help, give, play, love, and hope on the background. I die cut a panel of pitch black cardstock to 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches with a Lawn Fawn stitched rectangle die, and I stamped the words using candied apple, carved pumpkin, bundled sage, broken china, and shaded lilac distress oxide inks. Those oxide inks work really well on black cardstock. I turned to my printer and my Silhouette software for the sentiment. I printed it in a blue ombre on a black background, and then I took a piece of packing tape and laid that over the whole thing. You can see there's shine on that. That's just packing tape over the whole thing. I laid the packing tape on it and then die cut that sentiment with a nested tag frame die, one of these smaller dies here, another infinity die from Hero Arts. I die cut that from the printed cardstock, and then I die cut a couple more blanks from black cardstock and glued those all together. That tape gives the sentiment a nice touch of shine, and it also darkens up the black printing that almost matches the pitch black cardstock. I really like this card, and heaven knows words do matter. I like play. We looked at lots and lots of short words. I mean, you've got hope here, almost takes up the whole card. We looked at lots and lots and lots of words. What do we got here? We had kind, joy, share, peace, friend, ask, hug, awe, look, free, change, fix, hug. These are the 5 I decided on: help, give, play, love, and hope. Words do matter. So I had one more sentiment that I wanted to try with the letters, using the letters from the die cut. Card number 5, we've got don't quit, with the do it highlighted by a black background. So it's kind of a double sentiment here. Don't quit, just do it. Fairly subtle, but if you look, you can see that the do it portion is highlighted. These letters were cut from the watercolor paper and colored with the watercolor pencils. I got a nice ombre with those colored pencils. I die cut 2 more blanks of the do it out of pitch black cardstock and glued those together. I spattered some of the orange watercolor pencil. Just color on some paper with your pencil and then pick it up with your water brush and spatter away. That gives us a nice spattery background. And once that was dry, I glued the letters on top. You can't really see it in the photo, but I did also add some sparkle pen. I think you can see it there. I did also add some Spectrum Noir sparkle pen to the do it. A very useful card. Don't quit. Do it. Okay, that's 5 cards using only the elements in the classic kit. Now we can add some number stamps for more cards. Though these are not as tall as the alpha stamps, they are still 3/4 inches tall, so they're a pretty good size all on their own. My first thought was a birthday card, of course. Age is just a number. And on the inside, of course, we have happy birthday. I trimmed a panel of white cardstock to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and I stamped the numbers using the Hero Arts Thistle and Grape Juice inks. I did use a circle die to help space the numerals out, and then I used the pitch black letters from the black die cut for the age and colored them with Creative Expressions gold and red metallic gilding polish. This is that gilding polish. I've had this for a little while. I love it. It's really great, and was able to create a nice little ombre between the red and the gold there. I stamped the sentiment. Again, that's from the number stamp set as well, using the same 2 inks, and I added another black layer to the die cut letters and glued them to the card front. I colored the edges of a white A2 card base using the grape juice ink, and I glued the panel on top of that. Of course, I have the happy birthday sentiment on the inside that's stamped in the grape juice ink as well. This is a fun birthday card for any age. Well, possibly better for older people than younger people. So there's lots of options with the numbers stamp set, but I haven't used a lot of images from the alpha set, so I thought I'd try again. For our next card, we've got a Shine On card featuring the lighthouse image. It's a nice encouragement card where I made up for the bigness of the letters by curving that shine over the top of the lighthouse. I stamped the lighthouse on a panel of Bristol Smooth cardstock and colored it with my Zig Real Brush markers. I took a sunbeam stencil and lightly stenciled some rays around the beacon with Lemon Drop Reactive ink. I colored the white die-cut letters with the gold metallic gilding polish. Here's the gold one here. I just showed you the red one. Here's that gold gilding polish. Almost better than using metallic cardstock, practically. Love that, and it goes such a long way. And I also love the fact that it comes with little applicator brushes built into the lid. Or you can use your fingers, of course. Once those were dry, I glued those around the lighthouse on my panel, and I used the gold glimmer metallic ink that came in our kit to color the little sparkles around the beacon and also a few dots around the beacon as well. I added a couple strips of glitter cardstock below the sentiment for a little balance. This seemed to be getting out of balance here. I could have pulled on down a little more because there is more water, but I didn't, so I thought a couple of pieces of glitter cardstock down there would do the trick. And finally, I added some tiny bronze gems around the card for a little bit of extra sparkle. This is a really nice, though fairly small, lighthouse image that could be useful with some of the seaside dies and stamps that we've gotten from Hero Arts in the past. Shine on. I don't think nothing more needs to be said. Now, when I first looked at this stamp set, I thought, oh my goodness, I should be able to make some Rebus puzzles out of these. A Rebus is a puzzle in which words are represented by combinations of pictures and individual letters. I thought that'd be fun. I had a hard time coming up with Rebuses using these particular images, but I did kind of like this one. For my next card, we've got I Yarn for You. I yearn for you, lassie. I think if you say that with a bit of a Scottish accent, it works just fine. I yearn for you. I yearn for you, lassie. I yearn for you. A nice little pun and a good little Rebus puzzle here, too. This card actually utilizes both of the stamp sets and an image. This is a simple one-layer card with the ball of yarn stamped in intense black ink and colored with alcohol markers, and the letters and number are stamped with Concord and Ninth Dove and Mushroom inks for a nice ombre. Then I did stamp that with embossing ink and emboss that with some clear embossing powder as well. I really like the white space here and the one layer and the punny little Rebus. I yarn for you, lassie. This card came out of my search for word puzzles, trying to find some word puzzles that used some of the images in our stamp set. This one instead is an alphabet. We've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, Y, Z. And you open the card and we're missing you. A good missing you card. A good miss you card. I think one of the most interesting things about this is that if you line up the alphabet in order, you can only fit 25 of 26 letters on the front of the card. The fact that those die cuts fill up the front of the card without the U is just a bit of icing on the cake. I actually took a panel of watercolor paper and I colored the whole sheet with sea salt reactive ink, with both the sea salt reactive ink and our glitter metallic ink, and I just colored the entire card panel with that. A little bit of water, a little bit of spray. It's very interesting using both of those together. The white tones down the shine of the metallic ink while also giving us some nice white highlights. I thought that was great fun, and I like that subtle shine that gives us. I let the panel dry completely and then die cut the alphabet with the cover plate die. I glued the alphabet to a pitch black A2 card base after figuring out the spacing, of course. I would not have been able to make all 26 letters fit in this order. That makes me appreciate that alpha cover die just a little bit more. I die cut a panel of white cardstock with a Lawn Fawn stitched rectangle die, and I glued that to the inside of the card base. I couldn't find a missing sentiment in my stash, so I ended up just handwriting the missing on the inside with a black Pigma Micron pen. I just added the leftover U underneath, and we're done. No extras needed. I have decent handwriting, but I'm terrified of actually writing my own sentiments. I never think my handwriting is good enough, but it came out okay here. We've got an alphabet, and we're missing U. Okay, and I have one more Rebus here to wrap up my 10 cards. This one is courtesy of Joel. He came up with this one. I really like it. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, me. Open the card, and you have count on me. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on me. There's a fun little Rebus. Looks like I really got into the whole ombre stamping this month. And short of this mat, this is another 1-layer card. And again, we did use both stamp sets for this Rebus card. The numbers are stamped in Key Lime Fizz and Green Apple Reactive inks, and the me is stamped in Splash and Blue Hawaii Reactive inks. Those are fun ombres, work together very well. Now, I always start with a lighter color on the whole stamp and add the darker ink and feather the edge with a blending brush. But then I always add one more layer of the light ink on top to help it all blend together. I think I'm getting pretty good at my ombre stamping. I die cut the stamped panel with a Lawn Fawn stitched rectangle die, added a metallic green mat behind that, and glued those to the front of an A2 white card base. I printed the sentiment on the inside of the card using my Silhouette software and the same Hiragino Sans W7 font. The metallic mat on the front is all the shine this card needs, and a fun Rebus puzzle hopefully lightens the mood a bit for someone who needs some support. Count on me. A little silly, but quite fun. Now, that's card number 10. This may have been one of the most difficult kits I've ever had to try to come up with 10 different cards for, but I do believe these kits are a great stash builder. Now, I knew from the beginning that I would never be able to use every stamp in these kits, and I did only use 3 of the small images. But I gave that alphabet cover plate die a good run for its money and used a great deal of the die cut letters as well. And we have a great variety of cards here too. We've got thank you, birthday, congrats, love, support, encouragement. This might not be my favorite kit of all time, but I'm pretty sure it will come in handy in the years to come. The classic kit has sold out already. That's surprising. Usually it's the premium kit and supplies that sell out first, but the classic kit has sold out already, along with most of the December extras. But the premium kit is still available at Hero Arts. If I've managed to capture your imagination here or prompted some ideas of your own and you want to grab a kit for yourself, please use my links in the description down below. When you shop at Hero Arts, it does provide support for this page when you do, and it costs you nothing when you do it. Thank you so very, very much. I'm sorry I am a little late this month. December was quite busy for us this year, and I kept getting called away from the craft room. We did have a lovely Thanksgiving and a very Merry Christmas. I hope all of you have had the same. Remember to like me, list me, pin me, post me, share me with all of your friends. Don't run with scissors. And as always, I send you and yours love and light and all of my best wishes for a glorious new year. more detailed information, better pics, and product links, please visit my website at cardcutups.com.